You don't need a year to change your life. You don't even need a month. All you need is 24 hours, one single day, lived with complete awareness, self-control, and purpose. Most men waste their days waiting for someday. They tell themselves change takes time, that they'll start when they're ready. But a Stoic knows the truth. Every hour you waste is an hour you'll never get back. And if you can master one day, you can master all of them. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do, say, and think. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you. If this was your last 24 hours on Earth, would you still scroll aimlessly, complain, or hold grudges? Or would you move with precision, discipline, and calm, like a warrior of reason, a man of silence, a soul aligned with purpose? That's the Stoic way. It's not about emotion. It's not about luck. It's about living intentionally, minute by minute, thought by thought, breath by breath. In the next 24 hours, I'll show you 10 Stoic secrets that can reshape how you think, how you act, and how you feel instantly. Not someday, today. Because transformation doesn't start with a plan, it starts with a decision. The decision to control what you can, to let go of what you can't, and to carry yourself like a man who understands that every second is sacred. The moment you wake up tomorrow, you'll choose to think like Marcus Aurelius, to act like Seneca, to endure like Epictetus. You'll build calm under pressure, clarity in chaos, and strength in silence. You'll stop being a slave to your emotions and become a commander of your thoughts. You can change your entire life, not in theory, not in months, but in one disciplined day. All it takes is commitment to live these Stoic truths for the next 24 hours. So if you're ready to begin this transformation, if you're done wasting time and ready to train your mind like a warrior, like this video, subscribe to Stoic Blessing and comment below, "I will master today, not tomorrow." The first thought that enters your mind each morning decides the tone of your entire day. Most people don't realize this. They wake up, grab their phone, and instantly hand control of their mood to the world. A single message, a headline, a memory, and their peace is gone before sunrise. But a Stoic warrior doesn't begin his day reacting. He begins by commanding. Marcus Aurelius woke each morning reminding himself, "You will meet ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful men today, but none of them can harm you." He didn't do this to sound poetic. He did it to train his mind for battle before the first arrow flew. When you wake up, your mind is like a blank canvas. The first thought you allow to land there will paint the entire day. If you wake up thinking, "I'm tired," your mind obeys. If you wake up thinking, "I'm behind," your mind panics. But if you wake up thinking, "I am calm, disciplined, and in control," your mind adjusts to that frequency. That's why Stoics treat mornings like sacred ground. The first few moments after you open your eyes determine whether you live like a slave to emotion or a commander of reason. Before the phone, before the world, you anchor your mind. Start with one thought. "I will not be ruled by my feelings today." Let that sentence echo in your mind before you even rise from bed. Because if you can win the battle of the first thought, you've already begun to master the battlefield of the day. When doubt appears, replace it with gratitude. When anxiety whispers, replace it with awareness. When old emotions creep in, observe them, don't obey them. You are the observer, not the storm. Epictetus taught that men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. So if you can control the first view, the first perspective, the first thought, the rest of the day bends around your mindset. The Stoic secret is simple. You don't control the world. You control how you see it. And that begins with mastering that first silent conversation with yourself every morning. So tomorrow when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you check the time, before you check anything, check your mind and tell yourself quietly but firmly, I command my thoughts. I do not obey them. The way you begin your morning determines whether the world will control you or you will control the world. Most people roll out of bed already defeated. They wake up late, stare at a glowing screen, scroll through other people's lives, and wonder why they feel lost. They start their day reacting, not leading, but the Stoic doesn't start his morning chasing stimulation. He starts by commanding silence. Marcus Aurelius began his mornings in reflection. Before addressing the empire, he addressed himself. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He understood something most people never will, that your first hour sets the rhythm for your entire day. So here's your Stoic challenge. Before the world touches you, touch your own mind first. Wake up earlier than you need to. No distractions, no noise, no phone, just breath, stillness, and intent. Make your bed with precision, not because it's impressive, but because it trains your mind that details matter. Drink water slowly and consciously. The first act of discipline is awareness. Then sit in silence, reflect, meditate, journal. Don't rush, command. That's how a Stoic begins his day, not scattered, not reactive, but centered. Because if you can't control your first hour, you can't control your life. Seneca said, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable." Your morning is where you set your course. If you wake with purpose, the chaos of the world bends around your direction. If you wake without it, you're tossed by every wave of distraction and emotion. Commanding your morning means mastering three things: your mind, your movement, and your mission. Your mind. Begin with clarity. Choose one intention for the day, something small but powerful. I will stay calm, or I will finish what I start. Your movement. Move your body. Exercise is meditation in motion. The Stoic trains his body to obey his will. Your mission. Write down the single most important task for the day. Not 10, not 5, 1, then crush it. You don't need a 3-hour morning routine to become great. You need control. The act of choosing what to focus on before the world chooses for you is what creates power. When you command your morning, you anchor yourself in order while everyone else drowns in chaos. When you master your first hour, you no longer chase peace, you carry it into the day. So tomorrow, before the noise begins, before the world's demands flood your mind, take your stand. Because the man who commands his morning commands his destiny. The difference between a weak man and a strong one can be measured in a single heartbeat, the space between reaction and response. Most people go through life as emotional pinballs. Every word, every look, every inconvenience sends them bouncing in another direction. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they explode. Someone ignores their text, they spiral. Someone disagrees with them, they take it personally. And just like that, they've surrendered their peace to the smallest of things. But the Stoic warrior moves differently. He doesn't react, he responds. He's deliberate, calculated, still. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That line isn't philosophy, it's a weapon. It means no matter what chaos surrounds you, you decide what it means. Your control begins the moment you realize that no one and nothing can force you to react. A reaction is emotion in control. A response is discipline in motion. When you react, you lose yourself. You give others power over your state. When you respond, you remain in command. You create distance between the trigger and the choice. That distance, that pause, is where mastery lives. Next time someone disrespects you, pause. Don't reply. Don't match their tone. Take one breath. Feel the emotion rise. Then let it pass. Respond only when your logic returns. That single act of restraint separates you from 99% of people. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, war, and loss. Yet he remained calm. He wrote, "If you are troubled by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your judgment of them." He understood what few men do, that anger, jealousy, fear are all self-inflicted. And if they're self-inflicted, they can be self-controlled. A man who can stay calm while others lose control becomes magnetic. His silence unnerves the loud. His patience exhausts the impulsive. His discipline breaks those who rely on reaction. So practice this. The next time life throws something unexpected at you, imagine yourself as a mountain. The wind howls, the rain falls, but the mountain doesn't move. You watch, you breathe, you decide. Because control isn't found in avoiding problems. It's found in mastering your response to them. Remember this truth. The man who can remain composed while others panic wins without fighting. Every action you take is a seed. But the Stoic knows you cannot control the harvest. You can only control how you plant. Most men suffer not because they fail, but because they cling to outcomes. They obsess over what people will think, whether their effort will be rewarded, or if their work will ever be noticed. They tie their peace to results, and that's why they never find it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." That's detachment. You do what must be done, with excellence, with focus, with discipline, then you release it. You stop begging the world to reward you, and instead you reward yourself with self-respect. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care differently. You still give your best, but you no longer collapse when life doesn't give you what you expected. You start doing things for mastery, not for validation. You start acting from principle, not from the desire for applause. Seneca said, "He suffers more than necessary who suffers before it is necessary." That's what attachment does. It forces you to live in anxiety over results that don't even exist yet. But the Stoic man doesn't beg fate. He trusts it. He focuses on the process, his mindset, his routine, his discipline, because he knows outcomes belong to the universe, not to him. Detachment is the key to unstoppable peace, because when you no longer need things to go your way, nothing can shake you. When you no longer depend on the outcome, you free yourself to perform at your highest level. Think of the archer. He pulls the bow with perfect form, aims with calm precision, and releases. Once the arrow leaves his hand, it's out of his control. Wind, distance, chance. If he obsesses over where it lands, he loses peace. If he masters his aim, his breath, his posture, he wins regardless. That's you. The Stoic doesn't panic when plans shift. He doesn't mourn when efforts fail. He knows that peace lies in execution, not expectation. Detach from the result. Focus on the act. Because when you no longer need things to succeed, paradoxically, you start succeeding more, not from desperation, but from calm excellence. So today, stop checking the mirror for validation. Stop watching for applause. Stop waiting for permission. Do the work. Do it well. Then let go. The Stoics believed that a man's strength is measured not by how he performs in comfort, but by how he endures in discomfort. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." That's not poetry, that's training philosophy. Every challenge you face, every moment of pain or irritation is an opportunity to forge yourself into something sharper. Most people flee from discomfort. They avoid pain, avoid cold, avoid silence, avoid anything that threatens their comfort zone. But every time you choose comfort over challenge, you weaken your will, you trade power for ease. The Stoic warrior moves in the opposite direction. He seeks discomfort deliberately because he knows that's where the real growth happens. He fasts when he could feast. He works out when he doesn't feel like it. He holds his tongue when his ego wants to speak. He sits still in silence when his mind wants noise. That's training. That's warfare of the self. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, whatever makes you uncomfortable is the exact thing meant to shape you. Discomfort isn't punishment. It's practice. You grow resilient by embracing hardship before it's forced on you. When you expose yourself to controlled adversity, early mornings, cold showers, long workouts, solitude, you teach your mind that pain is not an enemy, but a teacher. You stop fearing challenge and start respecting it. Because discomfort reveals what comfort hides. When you're challenged, your excuses surface, your limits appear, your discipline is tested. That's when you get to meet the real you. Every Stoic trained for this, to remain calm under stress, composed in uncertainty, unshaken by pain. They knew that if you can master yourself when things are uncomfortable, you can master yourself in any situation. Most people crumble under pressure because they've never trained for it. But you're different now. You understand that the pain you resist today becomes the weakness you regret tomorrow. So you lean into the fire. You stay there until it stops burning and starts forging. This is your daily ritual of resilience. Do one hard thing every day. Face one discomfort you've been avoiding. Choose one emotion to observe instead of obey. Discomfort builds armor. Comfort breeds weakness. You can't control the world, but you can control your toughness. And that toughness is born in the places most people run from. So when you feel resistance, when life feels heavy, when your body screams, "Stop," smile. That's not your limit, that's your invitation. The modern world is a storm. Constant noise, opinions, anger, drama. Most people drown in it because they've forgotten how to simply watch without being pulled in. The Stoic warrior moves differently. He stands in the middle of the storm, eyes open, heart steady, mind untouched. He observes everything, but absorbs nothing. Epictetus taught, when something happens, the only thing in your power is your attitude toward it. That's the essence of this secret, observation over absorption. You can see the chaos, you can hear the noise, but you choose not to let it become your inner world. Every day, people pour their energy into things they cannot control. Politics, gossip, opinions, the past. They scroll endlessly, absorbing negativity that has nothing to do with them. Their minds become cluttered with other people's emotions. And then they wonder why they feel drained, anxious, and lost. But the Stoic builds an invisible shield, the discipline of detachment. He watches the world like a scientist studying movement, curious, aware, but unaffected. He learns from it without becoming it. Marcus Aurelius faced war, disease, betrayal, and still he wrote, "Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." That's what it means to observe, not absorb. You let life crash against you, but you don't let it enter you. You witness it all and remain still. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what isn't yours. You don't take on other people's anger. You don't internalize their judgment. You don't let their chaos invade your peace. You understand that everyone acts from their own perspective, their own ignorance, their own pain, and that's their burden, not yours. So when someone provokes you, observe it. Don't absorb it. When the world demands a reaction, pause. Don't absorb it. When negativity tries to crawl into your mind, breathe. Let it pass like wind through an open window. This is how you build inner peace in a noisy world. You stop letting every emotion, every headline, every insult shape your mood. You become the calm eye of the storm, still, observant, aware. The power of this discipline is subtle but absolute, because when you no longer absorb the chaos of the world, you start radiating your own order. People will feel it. They won't understand why your presence feels grounding, why nothing seems to shake you. But that's the Stoic aura, the stillness that comes from control. So remember, you can't stop the waves, but you can stop letting them flood your soul. Every word you say is energy leaving your body, and a Stoic warrior never wastes energy. In the modern world, people talk endlessly. They fill silence with noise, opinions, and meaningless explanations, hoping to be understood. But the more they speak, the less power their words carry. The Stoic does the opposite. He speaks rarely, but when he does, people listen. Seneca wrote, "It is quality rather than quantity that matters." That truth applies not just to actions, but to speech. The more selective you are with your words, the more weight they hold. The Stoic doesn't need to prove himself through noise. He doesn't argue with fools. He doesn't defend his decisions to those who will never understand them. He doesn't need to announce his plans. His results will speak in time. When you learn to speak less, you begin to see more. You start to notice the things others miss. Tone, body language, motives, truth hidden behind words. Your silence becomes your vision, and that vision becomes your advantage. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." You don't need to tell people who you are. You show them through restraint, composure, and the quiet confidence of someone who doesn't need approval. Silence unsettles the insecure. It disarms the loud. It commands respect from those who understand true power. The Stoic knows that words are like arrows. Once released, they can never return. So he draws carefully. He speaks intentionally. And when he does, his words land like steel, sharp, precise, unforgettable. Start practicing this today. Before you speak, pause. Ask yourself, does this need to be said? Does it serve purpose or ego? If it doesn't strengthen your message, let silence do the talking, because silence is not weakness, it's strategy. And when your silence becomes powerful, your words become sacred. There are only two kinds of things in this world, the things you can control and the things you can't. Every ounce of peace, every drop of power, every moment of clarity begins the moment you understand the difference. Epictetus opened his teachings with one of the most important truths ever spoken. Some things are in our control and others are not. Those 13 words could change your entire life if you truly lived them. Think about how much time you've wasted trying to control the uncontrollable. What she said, what they think, what didn't happen, what might happen. You stress, you overthink, you replay every detail. But for what? None of it was ever in your hands. The Stoic warrior doesn't give his energy to what he can't command. He knows that the external world, people, fate, fortune, is a wild beast. You can't tame it, but you can tame yourself. That's where true freedom begins. When you stop trying to bend the world to your will, and instead bend your will to meet the world. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. That's the Stoic blueprint. You control your effort, your attitude, your focus, your response. Nothing else. When something bad happens, you can't control that. But you can control how you interpret it. When someone betrays you, you can't control them. But you can control how much space you let them occupy in your thoughts. When life tests you, you can't control the test. But you can control how you show up for it. The modern mind is enslaved by distraction, constantly worrying about everything but the present. The Stoic mind is grounded, focused only on what can be done now. The moment you truly commit to this idea, the noise fades, stress dissolves, fear loses its grip. You become untouchable, not because life stopped testing you, but because you stopped fighting battles that were never yours to fight. So today, practice this. When frustration rises, ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go instantly. If the answer is yes, act on it with calm precision. That's how Stoics move, deliberate, composed, efficient. They waste nothing, not time, not thought, not energy, on what they can't command. Remember this: the man who focuses on what he can control owns his destiny. The man who focuses on what he can't becomes its slave. The day ends where it began, in your mind. And just as the morning belongs to discipline, the night belongs to reflection. Most people drift into sleep with noise in their heads, endless scrolling, regret, anxiety, unfinished thoughts. They close their eyes, but their mind keeps racing. They wonder why they wake up tired. It's because their spirit never rested. The Stoic does not end his day this way. He treats the night as sacred. He knows that true transformation doesn't come from what happens to you during the day, but from what you learn when the day is done. Seneca wrote, "Each evening I examine my day. I review what I have done and said, and I hide nothing from myself." That is not self-criticism. That is self-mastery. Before bed, the Stoic warrior asks himself 3 questions. 1. What did I do well today? 2. What could I have done better? 3. What did I allow to disturb my peace, and why? He doesn't ask these to punish himself. He asks them to sharpen himself, because every night offers a chance to adjust the blade before tomorrow's battles. Reflection is a mirror for the soul. You see yourself clearly. The victories, the mistakes, the triggers, all of it. And when you confront yourself with honesty, you stop repeating what weakens you. You stop carrying the same emotional baggage into a new day. The Stoic doesn't judge what he sees. He studies it. He takes lessons from his anger, wisdom from his impatience, and peace from his restraint. He closes the night knowing he has learned something, and that alone makes tomorrow better. This is the rhythm of mastery. Morning, control your mind. Day, control your reactions. Night, review your soul. While others end the day with distraction, you end it with direction. You let silence close the book on your thoughts, and as your eyes shut, your last words to yourself are calm and powerful. Today, I trained my mind. Tomorrow, I will train it again. Then you sleep, not as an exhausted man escaping the day, but as a warrior recharging for the next. Do this every night, and within 24 hours, your mindset will shift. Do it every day, and your life will never be the same. When the noise fades and the distractions die, you're left with one question. What kind of man are you when no one's watching? That's where the Stoic draws the line between the ordinary and the excellent. He doesn't live by emotion. He lives by virtue. because emotions change with the weather, but virtue is the mountain that doesn't move. Marcus Aurelius ruled the world, yet reminded himself daily, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That's not philosophy, that's instruction. Stop chasing motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop needing the world to applaud your actions. You already know what the right thing is. The question is whether you'll do it when no one's looking. The Stoics built their lives around 4 pillars. Wisdom, to see clearly, without bias or fear. Courage, to act rightly, even when it costs you. Justice, to treat others honorably, without selfishness or cruelty. Temperance, to stay balanced, to resist excess, to master desire. Those are not ideals, they're armor. When you wear them daily, nothing the world throws at you can corrupt you. When your decisions are guided by virtue, chaos loses its hold. When your actions are shaped by principle, emotion becomes irrelevant. Living by virtue means this: you don't argue about right or wrong. You embody it. You don't need validation to act with honor. You do it because it's who you are. You don't need recognition. You take pride in quiet integrity. Emotion makes you impulsive. Virtue makes you immovable. Emotion makes you seek revenge. Virtue teaches you restraint. Emotion makes you chase approval. Virtue reminds you your approval is enough. Seneca wrote, "A man cannot live well unless he can also live wisely, nobly, and justly." That's the formula. Simple, unchanging, eternal. The Stoic doesn't live for pleasure or praise. He lives for peace. He knows that when you align your life with virtue, you no longer need external reward, because the reward is self-respect. That's the quiet confidence people feel when you enter a room. The stillness of a man ruled not by impulse, but by principle. So live by virtue. Speak truth even when it's unpopular. Stay calm when others lose control. Work hard when no one's watching. Be the kind of man you admire, not just on your best days, but on your hardest. And when your head hits the pillow at night, you'll feel what few men ever do: peace. Because you didn't just live well, you lived right. You've just learned 10 Stoic secrets that can reshape your life in one single day. Not through luck, not through talk, but through action. You've learned to control the first thought, to command your morning, to respond, not react. You've practiced detachment, discomfort, and silence. You've trained your mind to focus on what's in your control, to reflect before sleep, and to live by virtue, not emotion. And now, you stand where every Stoic warrior begins, on the edge of transformation. The truth is, you don't need 10 years to change your life. You just need one day lived properly, one day where you control your thoughts instead of obeying them, one day where you stop chasing and start mastering, one day where you face pain, boredom, silence, and chaos, and remain calm through it all. Because when you live one day as a Stoic, you realize what real freedom feels like. Freedom from impulse, freedom from fear, freedom from the opinions of others. That's the essence of Stoicism, to walk through life unshaken, not because the world stopped being chaotic, but because you stopped being moved by it. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could leave life right now." Let that determine what you do, say, and think. So live as if this 24 hours is your last, disciplined, calm, and clear. Let every action be intentional, every word be measured, every thought be chosen, and by tomorrow you'll wake up a different man. Because transformation doesn't come with time, it comes with presence. And if you master one day, you can master every day after that. So here's your mission, Stoic soldier. Start today. Think like a philosopher. Act like a warrior. Speak like a sage. Live with peace that can't be taken and strength that can't be broken. If this message awakened something in you, like this video, subscribe to Stoic Blessing and comment below, "I will master today, I will master myself." Because the battle for your mind begins every morning. And those who train in silence rise in power. This is Stoic Blessing. Train your mind, master your emotions, rule yourself.